Real estate cold calling has long been a staple of the industry, and it's often been a challenge for brand new agents. But is it even still relevant now that we live in a more digital society? And is there a way for realtors to ensure they find success in cold calling? Well, my name's Dianna McClary, the house hustler from the Briley team. They call me the master cold caller, and I'm here to answer all your questions today. Tip number 1. What do I need to be able to cold call effectively? There are 4 key things that I always recommend. The first one is to ensure that you have accurate phone numbers. You want to make sure that you're always talking to the owner of the home and not a renter or someone else in the home. Tip number 2, making sure you have a database or CRM. This is highly important because if you do connect with someone, you'll want to be able to make sure that you can reach back out to them again. Same goes, if they don't want you to call them again, you'll want to make sure that you do not do that as well. The third one is the dialer. You want to make sure that you're using an automated system to help you dial out all of those numbers. You'll learn more about that later. And tip number 4 is scripts. Scripts are highly important. You can get scripts from all over. You can purchase them online. You can professionally steal them by asking other realtors if you can listen into their calls and borrow some of their script language as well. What's the success rate of cold calling? Cold calling has an average success rate of 2%. However, don't take that as a sign of discouragement. Cold calling is still a successful and essential lead generation strategy for many businesses. Organizations that did not engage in cold calling experienced 42% less growth than businesses that did. In the real estate industry specifically, it takes about 12 hours of calling and 208 cold calls to achieve one listing, an appointment, or a referral. Now, all that sounds fairly easy, but before you pick up that phone and get to cold calling, you need to know what the law on cold calling is. If you want to start real estate cold calling, you have to make sure you comply with telemarketing laws. This primarily includes the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, created by the Federal Trade Commission. This act prohibits realtors from calling clients with numbers on the Do Not Call registry. This means you cannot call FSBO sellers or expired listings if their number is on the registry. This also means if you are calling someone and they ask to not be contacted, that you make sure you mark that in your CRM for them not to be contacted. So now that you know the law, the next question I get asked is how many cold calls should I make a day? As I told you earlier, it takes about 208 calls just to get one listing or an appointment. So for each person, it's going to be different. You should really speak to your mentor about how much time you should spend on outbound prospecting. However, remember, it's important that your priority shouldn't be the quantity of calls as much as the quality of those calls. Your goal is to connect with people, have meaningful conversations with them, and seek to provide them value. So you've spoken to your mentor or coach, and now you know exactly how much time you need to spend on outbound prospecting. So when's the best time to call? The best time to reach the most number of people? Of course, you should never call too early or too late at night. According to Inman, the ideal time to make the most successful calls is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. However, I always like to switch it up a little. I like to call multiple days and multiple times, as people do have different work schedules. And if you want to continue to reach the most amount of people, continue to call that same area morning, afternoon, and evening, just not too late or too early. All in all, real estate cold calling is an important lead generation strategy and is still very much worth your time. If you use the proper tools, scripts, and above all, focus on meaningful relationships, you will be sure to find success with cold calling. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching The Inspiring Agent today. My name's Dianna McClary, the House Hustler. Make sure you subscribe and like below, and we'll see you next time.